the days when the whole country united against corruption. The voices and the visuals that are etched into the memory of every Indian. Anna Hazare, along with his team that included Arvind Kejriwal, who is now the Chief Minister of Delhi, and many other prominent faces, all came together and sat on a dharna in Jantar Mantar. And along with him were ordinary Indians. And in one voice, the nation demanded a Lokpal, an anti-corruption watchdog. Now, it's been nearly 6 years since the Lokpal bill was enacted. It is almost a forgotten fight. And once again, Anna reminds the nation that the fight against corruption cannot succeed without a Lokpal. The man who led the protests demanding a Lokpal back then is once again on an indefinite hunger strike, asking the same question: where is the Lokpal? But unlike then, his fight against corruption doesn't have those leaders who once stood by him. The 81-year-old anti-graft crusader is protesting at Ralegaon Siddhi village of Ahmednagar district in Maharashtra, all alone with only a handful of supporters.
This is that temple where Anna Hazare is on an unshan. Today is the 6th day of his unshan, and as per Anna's doctors, his health has started deteriorating. He has lost 4.2 kgs of weight. His sugar levels have decreased. BP has increased and it keeps fluctuating.
Anna Hazare says he will fight till his death to bring about a change.
अब इनका काम क्या था? सिर्फ लोकपाल नियुक्त करना और राज्य में लोकायुक्त करना, इतना ही काम था। 5 साल बीत गए, 5 साल बहानेबाजी। विरोधी पक्ष नेता नहीं है, सीनियर कानूनविद नहीं है, ये बहानेबाजी करके 5 साल निकाल दिया।
Mirror now asks, why are our netas dragging their feet to appoint a Lokpal? Where is the Lokpal? Is our fight against corruption a forgotten fight? Let's debate.
Let's first go across to Ralegaon Siddhi village in Ahmednagar, where Santya is live at this point. And also, unfortunately, among very few journalists who've actually gone out to track this protest and to track this fast. Now, you'll remember in 2012, when Anna Hazare did fast, there was a nationwide movement against corruption that walked with him in most of our cities, culminated in Jantar Mantar. It was a massive, massive event. People came out into the streets. They signed massive campaigns asking that the Lokpal be brought in because we were sick of corruption back then. Anna Hazare gave us two things: an identification that India hates corruption and we wanted it removed from our system. It also, that particular campaign gave birth to the Aam Aadmi Party that went on to form the state government in the city of Delhi. But where is the Lokpal? The whole point of that entire campaign was that India gets a Lokpal, a watchdog that is able to protect whistleblowers and able to actually hold government officers and politicians to task for corruption. The Lokpal bill was passed 5 years ago, before this current Modi government came into power. All this government had to do was appoint that one person. In the last 5 years, and much to the dismay of the Supreme Court no less, this government has failed to do so. Helped along by the opposition, led by the Congress party, whose leader Mallikarjun Kharge has refused to attend any of the meetings, and as a result, caused every meeting to adjourn and be moved forward. What are our politicians so afraid of? The same thing that they were afraid of back in 2012. Where is the Lokpal, and why have we as a country forgotten our fight against corruption? We've forgotten Anna Hazare. Joining me on the show, Vinayak Dalmia, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Medha Patkar, social activist, Shailesh Gandhi, former Chief Information Commissioner, Anand Gurumurthy for the BJP, and N. Ram, senior journalist. But first, I want to just cut across to my colleague Santya, who is live right now, just outside of where Anna Hazare is. Santya, what is the latest update at this point on Mr. Hazare's health? What are the doctors saying? And has anyone from government reached out to him so far?
Faye, right now we are at Ralegan Siddhi village, and this crowd which you can see, they are here to get a glimpse of Anna Hazare. And Anna Hazare, after a meeting with Girish Mahajan from Maharashtra cabinet, the meeting starting at around it started at around 4:30. Anna came out at around 7:45 out of that meeting, and he will address the villagers in some time. And you can see all these villagers here, they are not only supporting Anna Hazare, but some of them, they have also participated in the indefinite hunger strike. And if we talk about the center, Subhash Bhamre, MOS Defense, he also came to meet Anna Hazare at around 7:30. In fact, apart from that, MNS party chief Raj Thackeray also came to meet Anna Hazare. But let's talk to some of the villagers, he's Mr. Lakshman Wange. He's the one who is also on a hunger strike along with Anna Hazare. वांगे जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए शुक्रिया। आप भी अन्ना जी के साथ उनके अनशन में उनका साथ दे रहे हैं। क्या आप लोग, क्या जब तक अन्ना हजारे अपना फास्ट नहीं तोड़ेंगे, आप भी नहीं तोड़ेंगे?
नहीं तोड़ेंगे, बिल्कुल नहीं तोड़ेंगे। जब तक हमारे मांगे पूरी नहीं होगी तब तक हम हमारा अनशन नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
आपकी मुख्य मांगे क्या रहेंगी?
मुख्य मांगे एक तो लोकपाल और लोकायुक्त, ये दो जो मांगे हैं, अन्ना जी ने ये देश के लिए दूसरा स्वतंत्र युद्ध छेड़ा है। लोकपाल लोकायुक्त ये तो देश की मालमत्ता का रक्षण करने की व्यवस्था है। दूसरी बात यह है, किसानों के बारे में, स्वातंत्र्य के बाद किसानों को गुलामों की जिंदगी जीने के लिए मजबूर किया गया है। आज इस देश में खेती पे जो मेहनत करने वाला आदमी है, उसकी मेहनत की मजदूरी जो है होती है वो 200 रुपये होती है।
किसानों के लिए भी आप मांग कर रहे हैं कि स्वामीनाथन आयोग की
किसानों की मजदूरी, किसान खुद भी मजदूरी है, उसकी जो मुद्दा है, किसान जो अनाज पैदा करता है वो अनाज के कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में जो श्रम मूल्य पकड़ा जाता है दिन का, वो 200 रुपये है, और उसके मापिक ही किसानों के अनाज की कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन पकड़ी जाती है। तो आज किसानों की, ये देश के कृषि जनों की मजदूरी 210 रुपये पकड़ी गई है, और उसी वक्त इस देश के शासकीय कर्मचारियों को 700 रुपये से 7,000 रोजाना मजदूरी है। कलेक्टर को 7,000 है, और ये सिपाही को, शासकीय कर्मचारी सिपाही को 700 रुपये है।
अब ये मंत्री जो हैं ये रोजाना मिलने आ रहे हैं अन्ना जी से, तो आश्वासन क्या दे रहे हैं? और क्योंकि पिछली बार भी यही हुआ था, 2018 में तो लिखित में आश्वासन दिया, तो इस बार क्या मानने वाले हैं आप?
मंत्री ने बहुत टाइम आश्वासन दिया, लास्ट टाइम इलेक्शन में भी आश्वासन दिया है स्वामीनाथन कमीशन हम लागू करेंगे, लेकिन किया नहीं। 4.5 साल निकल गए। लोकपाल के बारे में इस मंत्री जी ने जो आश्वासन दिया है, लोकपाल के बारे में मान्यता दी है, राज्यसभा ने मान्यता दी है,
लेकिन हुआ कुछ नहीं है।
Faye,
along with Mr. Lakshman Wange, we are also being joined by the farmer leader Kakaji. In fact, he was present when Girish Mahajan had a meeting with Anna Hazare. Sir, आप उस मीटिंग में मौजूद थे, you were present there. क्या बातचीत हुई? क्या आपको लग रहा है कि ट्रैक पे ये जा रहा है? अभी कुछ और कॉन्क्रीट अश्योरेंस मिलने वाला है गवर्नमेंट से, या इस बार भी नहीं?
देखिए, जो भी लोग चर्चा करने आ रहे हैं, मैं ऐसा महसूस करता हूं कि उनको विषय की जानकारी नहीं है, नंबर 1, और ना ही वो लोग सक्षम हैं मांगों की मध्यस्थता करवाने में। अभी तक कोई गंभीर या सक्षम व्यक्ति केंद्र सरकार की ओर से मुझे यहाँ दिखाई नहीं दिया है जो कि ये कह सके कि मैं केंद्र की ओर से या पीएमओ ऑफिस की ओर से आया हूँ। चर्चाएं होती हैं, सभी इशू पर होती हैं, परंतु उनको खुद पता नहीं है कि हमारी प्रॉब्लम क्या है।
निष्कर्ष नहीं निकल रहा है
जी,
निष्कर्ष नहीं निकल पाएगा, इस तरह से आप कहना चाहते हैं?
नहीं निकल पा रहा है, तो निष्कर्ष के लिए आवश्यक है कि इसमें एग्रीकल्चर के साइंटिस्ट हों, जवाबदेह लोग हों, कॉम्पिटेंट लोग हों, जिनको पीएमओ अधिकृत करके भेजे कि उनको इन मांगों पर, तब कोई रिजल्ट सामने आएगा।
स्वामीनाथन आयोग की रिपोर्ट को लाने के लिए Faye, apart from these people, let's try and speak to some of the villagers also. All of them are here and they are here to support Anna Hazare from day one of the Anshan. They were here. In fact, right now, Gram Sabha is going on in this village. Every day at around 8, Anna Hazare addresses this Gram Panchayat, this Gram Sabha. Sir, आप यहाँ पे अन्ना को सपोर्ट करने आए हैं? समर्थन अन्ना के लिए
आप भी अन्ना के समर्थन करने के लिए
आप मतलब कब तक ऐसे उनकी मांगे क्या हैं? आपको लग रहा है सरकार आप लोग की मांगे मानेगी इस बार?
हाँ, सरकार मांगे मान जाएगी ना अन्ना की।
उम्मीद है आपको?
हाँ, जरूर मांगे।
जी हाँ, आप बताएं सर।
इतना मैं भूखा प्यासा हूँ। मैं मनोहर आनंदरापाली लातूर से आया, मैं चलकर आया हूँ।
आपको
हर दिल्ली में रामलीला मैदान जंतर मंतर में उनके साथ हूँ और पाँव में चप्पल नहीं डालता और दिन भर सूर्योदय सूर्यास्त तक मैं खड़ा रहता हूँ। क्योंकि
आपको लगता है सरकार मांगे मानेगी इस बार?
जरूर हम मनवाएंगे सरकार को, क्योंकि हमारा जो सत्य अहिंसा शांति का जो राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी का जो विचार है गौतम बुद्ध का, और मेरी अन्ना जी की जो विचार है, उस विचार के आधार पर हम जरूर हमारी जो मांगे है हम मनवाएंगे। और लोकपाल की जो महत्वपूर्ण जो मांग है, हमेशा हमेशा कब तक हमारे अन्ना अनशन बैठेंगे और हम कब तक भूखा प्यासा रहेंगे, तो हमारी मांग है लोकपाल, लोकायुक्त और स्वामीनाथन आयोग की सिफारिश जो है जल्द से जल्द उत्पादन खर्च के आधार पर उनको दृढ़ प्रभाव मिलना चाहिए और जल्द से जल्द किसानों का एक बार कर्जा माफ होना चाहिए। ये अन्ना के शब्द हैं।
These are the demands of the protesters and Anna Hazare in Raleigh City.
So the protest going on in that village in Ahmednagar. Thank you, Santya, for bringing us that update. Particularly heartrending to see that one person who has decided he will stand from sun up to sundown in support of this protest. On the show with me, Vinayak Dalmia, Medha Patkar, Shailesh Gandhi, Anand Gurmurthy and N. Ram. Mr. Ram, my first question to you. There has been, of course, a symptomatic dragging of feet done by both government and by opposition. Do you believe it's because the government has no intention to bring in a Lokpal, or have they, in all fairness, tried and failed?
They have not tried at all, because the pretext for the act is in place, it's been notified. But why have they not appointed the Lokpal? Because there's no official leader of the opposition, and they've been hiding behind this excuse. Of course, the Congress, the UPA government also dragged its feet for a pretty long time after 2011-12. And the act, the Lokpal and Lokayukta, don't forget the Lokayuktas, they also have to be done, of 2013. It was given effect to, but the point here is, 2 points here quickly, if I may make them. One is, the Lokpal itself is not a magic bullet. Its strength is its presumed independence. And given the way the CBI is functioning today,
yes,
independence is the foremost requirement when you talk about investigation of political corruption. Corruption of people in high places, public servants, ministers, going up to the chief ministers, prime ministers, senior bureaucrats, and so on. MPs also, which are covered in this. But it's not a magic bullet, because they do not, the Lokpal will investigate and prosecute, but it will not adjudicate. And that's where most of the problem lies. Defense lawyers prolong the whole process. You saw that in the case of the Jayalalitha trial, how long? 18 years. And the courts seem to be, including the High Court and the Supreme Court, seem to be powerless in observing timelines. They do not, nobody makes them ask for it, and it goes on and on. That's part of the problem. The other part is the laws themselves. Upendra Bakshi made this point a long time ago in a classic work called Liberty and Corruption, the Antulay case and beyond, where he made the point that the destiny of Indian law and jurisprudence, when it comes into direct confrontation with the will to absolute power in all its manifestations, that itself, that is the key. And the laws themselves and their enforcement are causative factors in the scaling up of corruption, because an immunity attaches. Today, because of the non-independent process at the center and in the states, there's a selective targeting of opponents, of enemies, political enemies. Completely, it's very complete. It lacks evenness. It lacks equity. The whole thing, the way the CBI functions, but it's also the case in states. So corruption, I would say, political corruption is not a pathological condition. It is normalized. It is pervasive. it is omnipresent, and it is multifarious. And moral campaigns of the kind Anna Hazare has led, and also Arvind Kejriwal earlier, they go only so far in mobilizing people close to elections usually. They last a while. They cannot sustain their energy, their enthusiasm, their momentum. The moral campaigns only make a small difference, in my opinion, because there is a lack of sustained effort. You lose sight of what was won, and the Lokpal is the best example of it. People have forgotten about it. The Supreme Court has not covered itself with glory. It gives timelines. It warns the government, but nothing seems to happen.
Yes.
And thank you for the time.
Well, absolutely. And I just want to, for the benefit of our viewers, remind the viewers what the Supreme Court has said in this matter. And exactly as Mr. Ram pointed out, it says, we won't allow Lokpal to become a dead letter. This was Chief Justice T.S. Thakur. When you say the government is committed to cleansing corruption, then this Lokpal is a step in the right direction. Why should there be a feeling of the government dragging its feet? It is not parliament, it is government policy. When you are doing reforms, internal and external, you need to do something in this regard as well. So the Supreme Court has pulled up the government at several counts, asked for affidavits and submissions as to why the Lokpal was not appointed. In one case, actually returned one of the affidavits saying it was not good enough, that they wanted a better answer from the government. Vinayak Dalmia of the Congress is with us, and so is Anand Gurumurthy. Anand Gurumurthy, if the Narendra Modi government led by the BJP was serious really about rooting out corruption from the system, why is it that 5 years down the line, Anna Hazare is still fasting and we don't have a Lokpal that has been appointed? What has changed really between the previous government and this one?
I just want to tell two things here. Number one, when the government, had the intention and had the member, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, in the finding team, he never attends meetings, and this was the reason why it got so delayed. The second thing is, in the Rafale, they went up to the Supreme Court. Within 15 to 20 days, or even within a month, okay, the Supreme Court quashed the entire thing. Other than that, there has been no complaint against this government regarding corruption. So let us be very clear on that fact, that this government has been the most clean government, and our intentions of appointing a Lokpal is being, again dragged into a controversy by the Congress.
Okay, let me just
and
respond.
Congress, for
yes, 1 second.
Like
you said you wanted to say
government, they quashed the Lokayukta in Karnataka.
Okay, so 1 second. You said that you have the intention, but Mallikarjun Kharge has not come to meetings. Mallikarjun Kharge's argument is that he is being invited as a special appointee and not as the head of opposition. Why can't you give Mallikarjun Kharge head of opposition and then just move past it, if the intention is that strong?
Whatever position has been... Whatever position he has been given according to the Constitution of India, and there has been no error in that. So he has to accept the position that he has been given, because that is the number of seats that Congress has in the Lok Sabha.
When the high-powered committee
our intentions are very clear. So let him come and participate. No, let him come and participate in the meeting.
At that point, Mallikarjun Kharge is considered head of opposition. When you need to appoint a CBI chief, he is considered head of opposition. But when you need to appoint Lokpal, suddenly he can't be considered head of opposition. Can you tell me why?
CBI chief appointment also, he is one of the members, one of the 3 members, and he comes there, he represents there. He'll get the same amount of respect and honor for coming in the Lokpal committee and also sitting. But he's not coming, he's dragging his feet. So he has to answer what he's trying to protect and what he's trying to, avoid. So Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge has to answer.
Okay, so what you're saying effectively is that if Mallikarjun Kharge were to come to the meeting, you would appoint a Lokpal immediately because you have your shortlist ready? Is the shortlist ready?
Once he comes to the meeting and it is discussed, then it will be revealed to the public and it will be made public.
No, I'm not asking you if your shortlist is ready to be revealed to the public. Is your shortlist ready at all? According to the Supreme Court, your shortlist is not ready.
See, once the... Whatever has been submitted from the government side to the Supreme Court is already public data. Okay, if Mallikarjun Kharge starts attending the meeting, only then it can go forward. The process is not going forward. It's because of the Congress leaders. They are avoiding this, coming to the meeting itself, and they are dragging the process. That is what we have to understand.
So it's all because
here.
of one
individual,
and Mallikarjun Kharge is coming in the way of your delivery of justice, which is fine. Let's set that aside. The BJP campaign in 2014, and I'm quoting here, said that the previous government was corrupt and the corruption was 2G, CWG, Damadji. How many of these people have you prosecuted? How many of these people, including the Damadji, is in jail? Have you brought any corrupt person to the book? Let's talk about the irrigation scam in Maharashtra, in which NCP leaders, very senior NCP leaders, were charged. Let's talk about other scams, 2G, coal scam, CWG scam. Have you brought anyone at all to book? Has anyone gone to jail for the corruption that you won your election on?
Judiciary is an independent entity in this country, and all of you know it. And we have processed the case. As it's getting processed, it happens. How can we take a unilateral decision to put somebody in jail? BJP as a political party cannot put, or even the government cannot put somebody in jail. It is the judiciary's part, and they are playing it the way they are playing it, and you have to question them.
Okay, all right. I have to question the opposition. So you've been in power for the last 5 years. You've been in power for the last 5 years. You promised us a Bhrashtachar Mukt Bharat, but I have to question the opposition on why there is still Bhrashtachar in the country. That let me point out to you, Anand Gurumurthy, is the most disappointing thing I have heard today. What clean governance? What clean governance are you telling me? Are you telling me corruption has gone down in registrars' offices, in government offices, in local corporation bodies, in state government? Has corruption gone down? Can you tell me with confidence that corruption has gone down? Where has corruption gone?
Wait a second. In the central manifesto that we gave in 2014, there is no corruption in this government, and nobody has been, even the Rafale, which was a complete lie, has been quashed by the Supreme Court within a matter of 1 month. A bench has quashed it. Please understand that this government does not have even one black mark of corruption on themselves.
So you do realize,
and that's a very important note that the media has to take. This is something which is remarkable in this country.
That corruption is not just the Prime Minister and the members of cabinet. When an Indian citizen deals with government on the local level, and we have to pay bribes, or we are asked for bribes to get simple work done, that is corruption. You promised us a corruption-free India that has not been delivered. Let me take this back to my panel at this point. Medha Patkar joins us right now, social activist who was very active with Anna Hazare when he went on the fast. 1 second. No, you've had your say.
I just want to make one more
Medha Patkar, please. Medha Patkar, we still don't have a Lokpal, and Anna Hazare is fasting again. It's almost like we're back to 5 years ago and nothing has changed. Go ahead, Ms. Patkar.
See, the government at the center is now known for its false promises. The Jumla-baji that everyone is talking about is witnessed in this issue also. It was Jana Lokpal, the strongest of the bills ever drafted. And it was a result of a people's movement, nothing less than that. But that Jan Lokpal has not seen the light of the day. And then some Lokpal Act, in presence of Kiran Bedi, Anna Hazare accepted it. We had some questions, but we thought that at least Anna has achieved something, so let it be. When the Congress promised and there was a parliamentary debate, the strongest possible, and a decision, that also did not get implemented. But then this somewhat weaker bill, but at least some achievement, that also has not been executed. So now there is no Lokpal, and the Lok has to palan kar rahe hai Raj ka, yehi chitra hai. So corruption is one of the biggest issues. Even the development projects are failing one after another. and are causing atrocities against the Dalits, Adivasis, farmers. And the farmers are cheated. Everything is corruption. It is the corporate corruption. Corporates are gaining thousands of crores of rupees, whether it is through the crop insurance scheme or any other health insurance scheme. So Anna is demanding the right thing, and he has refused to have any dialogue with the ministers, because we are witnessing, in Narmada we witnessed, in Mahul issue in Mumbai we are witnessing that they make some promises, they appoint committees, but nothing comes out. So I think Anna better stay put on his position, and the Maharashtra level decision on the Lokayukta at least should be taken. That is the test of the Maharashtra government before the upcoming election. And the farmers issue that we are anyway raising through the strongest possible alliance at the national level. 208 organizations coming together, carrying out various rallies at the Parliament Street in Delhi with lakhs of people. Everything has happened, and that's why the 5 states have won on the farmers issue. But what Anna Hazare is saying, everyone is saying that. All the farmers organizations are demanding the implementation of Swaminathan Ayog report, because that was one of the major issues in the manifestos of the BJP and all political parties. And now 21 political parties except BJP have signed the 2 bills which are placed before the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, one on the full freedom from debt, and the second one on the appropriate prices for every farm produce and the natural produce like milk or the forest produce as well. I think Anna must stick to his position, but it is absolute insensitivity not to respond to the issues. They shouldn't respond necessarily to the fast. They did not respond to the fasting saints in the Ganga Valley. Now the 4th saint has completed 105 days and is about to die. So the insensitivity of Modi government is now known to everyone. And now the Anna Hazare's strength and sensitivity to the people's issue is on test. And I'm sure that he will win the battle and also the war.
Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, we know that this government has also amended the Prevention of Corruption Act and allegedly weakened it. Do you believe that there is any real intention at protecting whistleblowers and making sure the corrupt are held accountable and making sure our corruption laws are strong?
The Prevention of Corruption Act has been converted into a protection for corruption. Therefore, the less said about that, the better. But the truth is, I think governments and political classes and bureaucrats are not really interested in doing away with corruption. But I also find it slightly amusing that citizens and media are not even getting or asking for accountability from whatever exists. 2 of the panel members just now talked of Lokayukta. Maharashtra has had a Lokayukta since 1971. Do you remember anything about the Lokayukta in Maharashtra and what he did?
No.
There are Lokayuktas in various states in the country. What they are doing is a complete mystery. And we are tolerating that. We are all very great at getting new positions filled. And I sometimes wonder, most Western democracies do not have vigilance departments in their government departments. We have vigilance departments in all government departments. That doesn't work, so we have an anti-corruption bureau. That doesn't work, so we have CBI, and we know what's happening to CBI now. Then we have a CVC, and now we are asking for a Lokpal. I think transparency and accountability would go very far if that was there. Without transparency and accountability, nothing is going to be achieved. Whenever we asked what the Lokayukta does, whenever we asked what the CVC does, there is no accountability, no transparency in what they are doing. And if that is the only way in which we are going to get a Lokpal, which I suspect it is, I'm not too sure whether we are going to get any big benefit out of this. I had also had this discussion with Arvind Kejriwal when the IAC movement was going on. I had said, supposing you are made the Lokpal, how will you change things so long as a dysfunctional judicial system remains? The truth is, most of our corrupt people are assured that they will hardly be caught. In the rare event they are caught, they are almost certain that the judiciary will not really make them go to prison.
Yes.
That is the truth of India. And as far as the Lokpal is concerned, unless we really get accountability, I think this is an exercise in futility. As far as Anna's fast is concerned, I think this government must respect him. The government did not even respond to him earlier, which is pathetic. Not responding to somebody like Anna Hazare when Anna wrote letters is a very strong indicator of the arrogance of governance. And this applies to all political parties. I'm not just saying the current political dispensation. All of them are so arrogant that they will not respond to they should respond to every citizen. And especially someone like Anna, they should have been respectful, which they haven't, which is very, very sad.
Well, another voice from Vinayak Dalmia. Vinayak Dalmia, please tell me, and you heard Anand Gurumurthy of the BJP say it's Mallikarjun Kharge's delay on the panel of the selection panel that has caused the delay of the Lokpal. Why won't Mallikarjun Kharge attend the selection meetings?
I'll answer that question very categorically. But before that, I'd like to, comment on the situation. I contemplated entering politics as a young person around 2013 when Anna Hazare was on fast. I am in politics, active politics in 2019, and Anna Hazare is still on fast. And all that has happened is a change of government. Those who were not in power then were alleged champions of Lokpal, were alleged champions of anti-corruption. The greatest political beneficiary of the Anna Hazare movement has been the Sangh Parivar and the BJP. They came to power on that plank, but they did not deliver in the last 5 years. Firstly. Secondly, now on your point of why does Mallikarjun Kharge not entertain this? I am very proud and glad that he does not entertain it. He in fact wrote several letters to the Prime Minister, 28 March 2018, probably being one of his recent letters to the Prime Minister, and he enumerates why he does not attend. He does not attend because it is an eyewash. He does not attend because it is a joke. What is this culture of inviting him as a special invitee merely to be a spectator in a film, which is a rigged match? He has no voice, he has no power, and he has no vote. What is he going to do in this meeting? It's a complete eyewash and a sham. When you do not have a leader of the opposition, which is your allegation, and like you rightly pointed out, you can do changes or make appointments in the CBI and the CVC, but you can't specially make appointments in the Lokpal. What is this? Either you have a consistent policy and a consistent rule for all agencies. You cannot have this piecemeal rules which suit you and piecemeal rules which do not suit you. The bottom line is that those in power in the BJP do not want a strong Lokpal. It does not suit them. Like they don't want a strong CVC and right to information because it does not suit them. It will ask them uncomfortable questions. It will show them a mirror. Yeah.
Vinayak Dalmia, let's assume that you're right about the fact that Mallikarjun Kharge is standing strong on his on his thoughts that he doesn't want to be a special appointee to this panel. But if he were to set aside those differences and make sure the Lokpal was appointed, we would have one today. 5 years, Vinayak Dalmia, 5 years of cancelling meetings. Absolutely. And we don't have a Lokpal appointed. How long is this going to continue? I understand you want to make a political point, but at what cost?
No, not at all. I'm making a factual point. He has no power. Him attending that meeting as a special invitee is as good as you and me attending that meeting. We can witness something, but we have no authority, we have no voice, we have no vote. So what is Mallikarjun Kharge going to do? It's a mere formality and it's an eyewash.
Witness and make sure it still happens.
To cut a ribbon.
Isn't this arrogance at the end of the day, Vinayak Dalmia, for him not to go at all and keep us wanting for a Lokpal for now 5 years? What sort of arrogance is that? Wouldn't you agree the last 5 years would have been more efficient if he had a corruption watchdog in place? You are in opposition, you're constantly crying about corruption.
Absolutely, I 110% agree with you. I 110% agree with you that the last 5 years were a wasted opportunity. But the question has to be at the BJP's footstep. They are in power. They made the changes to accommodate when they wanted to appoint a CBI person. They made the changes when they wanted to appoint somebody for the CVC. Why can't they make the same changes and accommodate Mallikarjun Kharge for the Lokpal? I'd like to ask a question.
So Enram, senior journalist,
you said leader of opposition is not here, but then the leader of the single largest party is there.
Mr. Ram, do you buy these arguments between the BJP and the Congress? Okay, Vinayak Dalmia, allow Mr. Ram to respond.
Let me
Mr.
just
Ram,
say one last point, Faye.
No, one second. Mr. Ram, do either of these arguments seem valid to you? On one hand, you have the BJP blaming the Congress is blaming the BJP. We don't have a corruption watchdog.
I think there is no question that the BJP, the government, is primarily responsible for this. Absolutely, it's shown. It made a promise and is not delivered. It's been hiding behind this this excuse, I would say. So I do not buy that. Mr. Karge not going, we have to look into that. I don't think the Congress was too keen either earlier on. It had to be dragged into this, into making this bill, and as Medaji has pointed out, it's not quite what he wanted, but it's all right. It would have been a step forward in terms of presumed independence of the authority. But may I also quickly respond to a point made about claim that there was no corruption in the present dispensation. I'm not going to Rafale. That's the last has not been heard on it, but I'm not going into that. But what about the money spent, the black money spent in elections, in recent elections? And who had the most of it? Who had the largest stocks? To go by press reports, the BJP outspent every other party, including the Congress. Not that the Congress observed the rules of the game. And Karnataka, they also spent. But I think that's a major aspect of corruption, bribing voters, exceeding your legal limits. So what are we? You're talking about just scams? Is corruption only reducible to scams or scandals? As you pointed out, that it goes on all the time. It goes on at different levels. It's pervasive. So what is this claim that there is no corruption in this government or under this regime? No, you laugh it out of court when somebody makes that claim. With all due respect.
Yes, very well said. And I also want to point out that Anand Gurumurthy's argument that the Rafale case was tossed out of court still doesn't answer the question of why the government submitted an affidavit with what it called a typo error about a report that was never presented. But Medha Patkar, do you buy the arguments you've heard from both the Congress and the BJP? Is it just the arrogance of politics that's come in the way right now, Ms. Patkar?
Actually, I can't hear everything clearly, so I'm just guessing. But I think this debate is not the debate between the political parties. This is the conflict between the state and its people. And today the state in this country is governing the country in a way, but that's not within the constitutional framework. The values to the directive principles are really not followed. And that's why corruption, that is giving pecuniary advantages to all mafias, the sand mafia, the sharab mafia, and the political parties and the politicians, wherever they are in partnership with these mafias, there is the maximum corruption. If you take out any CAG report and look into the 1 crore kind of scams, then you get to know how many crores of rupees are manipulated and misused, and that is what is causing the state exchequer a lot, and that's why people are hungry, thirsty, they have no affordable housing, and the absolute inequality is growing in this country. So I think this kind of all the issues of corruption from the bottom up, uppermost is the scam like Rafale, which Advocate Prashant Bhushan, kind of committed advocate, is raising the issue about, and everything is exposed. But CBI, RBI, every institution is being mismanaged and is politicized. So why talk about Lokpal and Lokayuk? That also they can misuse and manipulate. But still we have some hope in creating these kinds of new channels. So I think all the parties must come out in favor of application of RTI to their fundraising and their expenditure, as someone said it. But also beyond that, in order to curtail corruption, it is only the power to people as the solution. And I think Anna Hazare has been for it. And that's why his past must be responded, not through the false dialogue and false promises, but clear, written, commitment and decision which should come in the form of government orders. So, otherwise,
Ms.
we all
Patkar, before
will
you
have
leave,
to join him some way or other, because we are experiencing.
Let me comment on a few points.
Ms. Patkar, we have a response from Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He says we've requested Anna Hazare to stop his hunger strike and his demands will be accepted. Lokayukta Sanyukta Committee has been accepted. His demands have been acted upon by the PMO through a letter we have sent. That is why I request him to stop the hunger strike. Now, this is the comment from the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. What is your reaction to this comment? Is this what Anna Hazare wanted?
No, if it is... Sorry, I did not hear the decision and I have not seen any document proving this, because the Chief Minister, whom we respected as the opposition leader, is now playing games with respect to the people like the urban poor in Mahul in Mumbai. So I cannot believe that unless they come out with a clear government order responding to the demands by Anna Hazare and all of us. And I would also say that the Prime Minister not responding to 35 letters and then sending one-line reply makes everyone doubtful about the political will that this government really carries with it. So I think if there is a decision, let the Maharashtra and the central government come out with it. And it's only the fasting person, the Anna Hazare or the fasting persons in Ganga Valley, they have to take a decision, but they are not responding to fasts. That insensitivity is absolutely seen in a way, murdering the saints in the Ganga Valley itself. So I think Anna Hazare is also a saintly person and is reflecting the people's demand and people's voice against corruption. Right. And that's why
all right,
Anand
Gurumurthy wants to respond.
To really respond to all the agitations which are peaceful and non-violent.
Yes. Vinayak Dalmia, I saw your hand go up. Let Anand Gurumurthy have a say and you could respond to him. Anand Gurumurthy, the lack of response from the government, is that arrogance? Is that a sign of disinterest? What is it?
I just want to respond to that only. To Shailesh Gandhi ji. He says that the amount of there are replies given to Anna Hazare ji, and there are clarifications given. Everything has been given through our people, and we everywhere we are requesting him to understand what we have done from the last 5 years, and just come out of this agitation mode and work with us to
what have you done in the last 5 years?
And Lokpal in the coming days. Then the second thing is Medha Patkar ji, like what I explained, there has been no corruption. That is the whole thing. At the central government level, there has been no corruption. So let me go to the second point now. Medha Patkar ji is continuously talking, saying that
Anand Gurumurthy, so you're saying Anand Gurumurthy, you're saying that we should be happy that there's been no corruption.
I have even given you the example that Rafael case took up to.
You took up to the Supreme Court. You submitted to the Supreme Court an affidavit with a typo in it that mentioned a report that didn't exist. What happened after that? What is the status of that CAG report?
It has a complete. It has a complete report. It has a complete report, and the report clearly says what is there. What is there in the Rafael deal, and the Supreme Court has quashed it. The typo error, the Supreme Court will come up with the with their response, and then you see that we are still
Okay, so Anand Gurumurthy, so the typo error. This 1 second, don't you calm down. So 1 second, listen. One nimshari. So basically, the Supreme Court has not responded to the second affidavit from the government that said that the first affidavit had a typo in it and mentioned a CAG report that the Supreme Court then mentioned in its judgment. Now, we do know that the Supreme Court doesn't really have, jurisprudence doesn't have a method in which you can sort of tweak a judgment and correct it and put it out. You have to review that judgment. So the Supreme Court still hasn't had its say. So the matter is not concluded in the court, Anand Gurumurthy. So for you to sit on national television and say the Supreme Court is done with it, we have our answer, would effectively be untrue.
1 minute. 1 minute. No, it is not untrue. Whatever decision it has given, it is in public domain. Everybody has seen it, and that is what I am talking about. Now let us go to the second point where Mehra Patkarji says that there is no development happening. So many projects, so many projects. Okay,
what
whether
projects?
It's the Bogeybill Bridge or the Narmada Dam, Sardar Sarovar Dam. Sardar Sarovar Dam. All these were like pending from such a long time, and it has been completed. And the rural housing,
One second. Okay, fair enough. Anand Gurumurthy, one second. Let me bring in Vinayak Dalmia, but let me just point out to you that if you think the answer to Medha Patkar's accusation of corruption is to say that the Narmada Dam project has now been completed, would require you to do a little bit of reading, if I may say so. Vinayak Dalmia, go ahead. What's the point you'd like to make?
Couple of points. First, this particular government who politically benefited, like I mentioned, from the Anna movement has converted a Lokpal into, call it a Jokpal or call it a Jumlapal. Choose your pick. Number one. Number two, the difference between us and them is when there was an Anna movement in 2012 under the UPA government, we responded to the movement, we gave the person and the movement due respect. We created a committee of our senior leaders who interacted and interfaced with Anna Hazare, and we created a Lokpal bill and a Lokpal Act. Now 2014 comes and the Modi government comes to power. The onus was on the Modi government to do something about it. They had 5 long years. But the bottom line is, this is classic BJP. They make multiple promises when they are not in power, whether it's the Lokpal, whether it's Make in India, or whether it's the Ram Mandir. But the moment they come to power, they drag the feet on every single promise they made. Ram Mandir, Lokpal, Make in India. Multiple such promises, they have dragged their feet because it does not suit them. And when it does not suit them when they're in power, this is exactly what the BJP does.
So tell me
and they
something.
will go hammer and tongs when they're in opposition because they're desperate to come back to power.
Hang on. Vinayak Dalmia, very easy to forget the past.
Double standards of this particular government.
Very easy to forget the past, Vinayak Dalmia, but to say that the Congress...
Vinayak, please understand.
One second. Anand Gurumurthy, don't speak out of turn.
He's from your party. He's delaying the Ram Mandir case like this.
Okay, are you quite done talking about Ram Mandir? Because we don't talk about Ram Mandir on this channel. We talk about corruption and the rights of citizens. Mr. N. Ram, forgive me, I want to come back to you.
Vinayak started it. I didn't start it.
No, nobody started it.
So I'm just giving a reply.
Thank you very much, but you're speaking out of turn. My question was to Mr. N. Ram.
I was highlighting how you make tall promises and you fail to deliver.
No wonder Parliament is such a ruckus when none of you can actually follow instructions. Mr. Ram,
and you don't deliver when you get into
may I please speak with Mr. Ram? Mr. Ram, for the Congress to turn around and say we responded to Anna Hazare's fast on time, I think would be misleading, because what the UPA government failed to do was to respond on time, which is why it turned into the movement that it did turn into. But also, for the Congress to turn around and say this is entirely the government's responsibility, when as opposition they've done absolutely nothing. How often have they raised this in Parliament? How often have they brought it up in the media and said that the Lokpal is important, it has to happen? Not a lot. So actually what we have here are political parties in a tacit understanding that for as long as the Lokpal doesn't come in, neither of them have to worry about anything.
I agree with you. Both parties, and when they were in government, both governments have been economical with the truth. And they continue to be that. And it's not just the Lokpal. Look at the Whistleblowers Protection Act, which has been in the making since 2011. It received presidential assent in 2014. Then they sought to, through amendments, to dilute this whole concept of a whistleblower. And it's not, as far as I know, it's still not been given effect to the Whistleblowers Protection Act of 2014. It's a separate act, and it's very important to have whistleblowers when you're faced with corruption, particularly whistleblowers who are in key places. They need to be protected. Look at the number of exemptions, restrictions on whistleblowing that have been brought forward in these amendments. And as far as I know, the process is not complete.
And Mr. Ram, all of the supporters, the big political supporters who showed up on the dais of Jantar Mantar the last time when Anna Hazare was fasting, are missing this time. He's alone. apart from a few villagers? Where did they all go?
And he started it rather late in the day. Of course, he's brought in farmers' issues, which is very, very important. Meda made that very clear. But corruption, it'll go on. It'll take another 5 years before anything will happen. And even then, this is not a magic bullet. But it's a step forward because we want some independence in the investigative process. But you still have the judiciary and the law's delays, which account for most of the problems in dealing with corruption, because defense lawyers hijack the process. And I said the Jayalalitha case and many other cases.
Yes, we have run out of time, but it simply boils down to this: as Indian citizens, have we forgotten Anna Hazare? Remember when he led that protest across the country, where lakhs of Indian citizens, a lot of very young people, came out into the street wearing those hats and holding up banners that said, "I am Anna Hazare. I will fight against corruption. We will reclaim this country of India against corruption." We forgot. We gave up and we moved on with our lives. Corruption is still there. Anna Hazare is still fasting. And we still have a government, incidentally, by a different party who isn't paying attention. Neither the government of the day nor the opposition have showed any sort of intention of bringing the Lokpal into force and making sure we have what we fought for. I only ask you this tonight, as Anna Hazare continues to fast on day 6, and he says this time he will not stop, let's pay closer attention to a man who's decided to take a stand again. It's the least we can do. Thanks for watching.